This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. So yes, good evening and continuation to yesterday's session. So yesterday we tried to understand one of the main feature of HANA, which is in memory. So in memory database is nothing but keeping your database in the memory. So it's not a very new technique and it's not completely a different technique. It's known from the day one onwards. From the day one onwards, it's very clear that the data in the memory is faster than the data in the hard disk. But why it is now in practice? Just because of the availability of the hard disk, availability of the hardware, availability of the hardware, and also in both the ways, with respect to price, with respect to the actual availability. So, and coming to memory, now it is affordable. In the olden days it was very expensive, and that too memory was with very limited size in the olden days. So that is the reason. Otherwise it's very clear, it's very universal fact that memory is faster than RAM, is faster than hard disk. So that is what SAP is trying to expose. Now as a result of it, when your data is in memory, that means your database layer is now acting as your application layer, so that whatever we did earlier at the application layer level, now the same thing can be done at the database layer level. That's the only one point I want you to understand. So whatever we did earlier at the application layer level, all kind of computations, that and all now can be done and is recommended to be done at the database layer level, because my database is now in memory. Since my database is in memory, so that is the reason the programming style, instead of doing your calculations at the application layer like this, see this, instead of doing your calculations at the application layer like this, that is also memory, guys, that's also memory. Finally we are doing everything at the memory level, isn't it? But now the memory at the database layer level. So instead of doing this kind of calculations at the application layer level, it is now recommended to be done at the database layer level. Very common question is, if you do the things at the database level, database will be overloaded. Yes, database is overloaded, but when the data is in memory, so then doing the things at the database layer means doing the things at the memory level only. So in that way it is not overloaded. If it is not in memory database, definitely it will overload the database. So that's what here, this is now the common practice when it comes to HANA-ABAP. When it comes to HANA-ABAP, since HANA is in memory, so this is very common practice, what we call as code push down or code to data, pushing your code down to the database, selecting the fields. And this is one case expression, where the case expression during the select, from where you are selecting from the database, but my database is in memory. So the selection from the memory, this calculation in the memory, this calculation finally into table I tab, into table I tab. Now observe it, what is there in the I tab once this query is executed? What is there in the I tab? The raw data plus the calculated data, calculation 1, calculation 2, calculation 3. So all the calculations are happening at the database layer level. So this is what the new technique. In fact, this is also not new technique, guys. This is also there from the day one onwards, but we were told not to use this, not to practice this, and just because it will overload the database. But now the bad practice now became good practice, just because of the in-memory database. Otherwise what happened, in fact for the coding also it is easier. For the coding also it's easier. Earlier when you wanted to see sum of sales order, it's a two-step procedure. When you wanted to see the sum of sales orders and a sales order by sum, you can very well do it like this here, two-step. When you want to see sum of sales order or sales order by sum, you can very well select the data into an internal table IT underscore VBAK. From VBAK table we get all the sales orders. Then as the second step, we loop at this internal table, loop at end of, isn't it? This is what we practiced. At end of VBLN, that means at the end of each sales order, say sum. This is what sales order by sum and at and loop. Now yes, this is all happening at the application layer level. Now the same thing can be done at the database layer level. Yes, possible. Select, yes, sum is an aggregation function. Sum of what? Net price. So the net price will be summed, whose net price, etc., 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 group by VBLN. So group by EBLN. So for each EBLN, let's say one VBLN sales order has 10 items. Item 10, item 20, item 30. But these are all one sales order. So this is all one group. So group by second sales order is one group. This sales order has 4 items, 10, 20, 30, 40. When it's a group by VBLN, this becomes one group, this becomes one group. At each group level, you are summing. So grouping at the database layer level, summing at the database layer level. So a lot of things here. This is possible now. This is possible. This is what it is recommended. So this is again code push down. So you are doing your calculations at the application, sorry, database layer. Yes, we all it's possible. Even the earlier also it is possible in the OpenSQL, but we know that we were told not to use it, just to not to overload the database. Yes, you overload the database now. It's not overload now because your data is in memory. So now also things are happening at the memory level, but the memory at the database layer level, not at the application layer level. That's what we discussed yesterday. So is that point clear? Shall we go ahead with the next point?
Yes, Ganesh.
So the next point, continuation to this only. There is another bottleneck. This is one bottleneck. Bottleneck is loading the data from hard disk to the memory is the bottleneck. Now what we did, we kept the data in the memory itself. I repeat, earlier the bottleneck, your journey starts from hard disk. That means database. From there, load it into memory. Once you got the data into memory, so since memory is faster, we can do everything from there. But now, since your data is already in the memory, or you are trying to load it in memory, your journey now starts from the memory. Your journey now starts from the memory. So now the other bottleneck. Yeah, this is the other bottleneck. Shift of performance bottlenecks. Shift of performance bottlenecks. So there is still some performance bottleneck, some performance issue, but earlier it was something, now it is a different thing. In past your journey starts from hard disk, that's what your database, and loading the data from disk to the main memory. This was the challenge earlier. This was the challenge because loading the data from slower device to faster device. Now that was not the challenge because your journey starts from here. Your data is in main memory now. Your data is already in the main memory. Our data is already in the memory because of the in-memory database. Now your journey starts from here. Then what is the bottleneck? HANA supports multi-core architecture. What is this multi-core architecture? Very simple. You all know that what is multi-core architecture. i3 processor means what? 3 processors works parallelly. 3 different processes in one CPU works parallelly. So they share the work and then get the things done as faster as possible. i5, 5 different processors works parallelly. That is the reason i5 is faster than i3. i7, 7 processors. So this will be used within the HANA. This kind of architecture will be used within the HANA. It supports multi-core architecture. That's what we said earlier yesterday. It's both combination of hardware and software. So since multi-cores are working parallelly, you need to keep your cores busy here from the main memory to finally we have to load the data into CPU cache memory or core memory. So where the actual things happens. So now the bottleneck is loading the data from main memory to CPU, core memory and cache memory, because here there'll be multi-cores. And then if this is not loaded faster and effectively, if this is not done properly, then there is no use of having this many cores. Keeping the cores idle has no point in the multi-core architecture. To keep the cores busy or to use this cores effectively, what need to be done? Data from the main memory has to be loaded into CPU core memory. This is now the bottleneck. Past this one to this one. Of course, this is also earlier there was 2 bottleneck. This is the main bottleneck, and this to the memory. Now this memory to this memory. So to do this effectively, what to do effectively? To load the data from the main memory to CPU cache memory effectively. Yes, then there is something called columnar database. By default, database is row wise. Now there is something called columnar database. When you say columnar database, your data is stored in the form of columns. We'll see how the columnar database will help us to load the data from here to here effectively. First, even when you try to create the table now onwards, when you try to create the table now from the dictionary, if the database is HANA, there is an additional option. I'm just trying to show you. At the time of creating the table itself, we can choose the table type as columnar. By default, it is row wise. Now we can very well, yeah, this is our SAP system where the database is HANA. And here, when you go to S11 and try to go and open any table here, any table, I just open the table here. Here in the technical settings, somewhere here in the technical settings, yeah, so this is an additional tab which was not there earlier. This is an additional tab, database specific properties. So what happens with the database specific properties when I click on this? Just see this, there is something called column store, row store. In HANA, by default, the tables are column store. What happens when it is column store? Let us take the same table, KNE1 table. First record is stored like this. First record 1000 customer, its a name as first record, and continuation to that, second record. Here second record, continuation, second record, third record, fourth record, like this. So record wise. In fact, in the actual database, it is stored as a file. First record, from here only second record, third record, like this. Internally it will be stored like this. But anyway, we'll imagine like this, at least first record, then second record, third record, fourth record, fifth record, etc. When it is row wise, row store. When it is column store, first column data first. First column is Columnar. Yes, Columnar 1000 and 2000, 3000, etc. Next one, land. Assume that next column is land one. Country, land one. Country, first record is IN country. Next record is DE, and the next record is again IE. Next record is US. Next record is IN. So let's say there are 10,000 customers. When there are 10,000 customers, there will be 10,000 entries here. Just observe, there is one tricky point here. So there will be 10,000 entries in the country also. Now tell me, customer is a primary key. When there are 10,000 customers, every customer is unique customer. But is every country is unique country? 10,000. No, right?
No.
Is every country is unique country, distinct country? 10,000 countries?
No.
Do we have 10,000 countries in the world? No.
No, Ganesh.
Yeah. So observe this column now. If we just load this column as it is, it needs lot of time. If you can compress it by eliminating or discarding the duplicates, by discarding the duplicates, 10,000 entries may become just 300 entries. Assume that there are only 300 countries. So I repeat, within the column there is a scope for duplicates. Within this column there is scope for duplicates. So, and while loading this column as it is, it takes a lot of time and lot of space. And when you compress it, compress doesn't mean that blind compression like WinZip. Compress means here discard the duplicate things. Discard the duplicate things. When you discard the duplicate thing, it becomes 300 entries. So now loading 10,000 entries, loading 300 entries. Which can be loaded faster? 10,000 entries, 300 entries.
300, yeah.
Definitely 300 entries. So here come back here. Similarly name, similarly city column again. What is 01? Definitely there will be cities replicated, because let's say 100 customers belongs to one country, next 100 customer belong to another country, next 100 customers belong to one more country. So each 100 customers has only one city, next 100 has only one city, next 100 has only one city. So 10,000 customers may belong to just 100 different cities. So loading this 10,000 needs more space, more time. Loading the 100 entries needs less space and less time. So now conclusion is, go back. Now our aim is to load this data effectively and faster. Solution for is compressing the data, but compression can be done effectively within the column, because when you compare each record, every record is a distinct record. But when you compare each column except the primary key column, every column has the maximum possibility to have the duplicate entries compressed, so that compression can be done effectively. Column 1, column 2, column 3, within each column compression can be done effectively. So that the solution for this is compressing the data, but solution for the compression is columnar database. Not only for compression, let's say there are 3 cores here, 4 cores, core 1 here, core 2, core 3, core 4. When you load these columns as it is, each column can be processed by each core differently. That's what parallel processing. So parallel processing can be achieved easily and effectively, and by keeping all the cores busy, if one column can be processed by each core. Of course, let's say there are 5 cores, but we have only 4 columns, and the 4th column can be further divided, can be partitioned, to make sure that all the cores will be busy. So, and what I want you to understand, the solution for this is a columnar database. Columnar database will be helpful in 2 ways. One is by compressing the data, so the data will be loaded faster. Not only that, each column can be processed individually by each core. If required, one column can be further divided into further sections to keep all the cores busy. So the solution for this is columnar, and columnar is the solution for loading the data effectively and processing the data parallelly by various cores. So is that clear? And to make it simple, let me make it simple. Let's say there is one counter. There are 100 people. Then this number of people got increased to 1,000. If the number of people got increased to 1,000, now what happens? This one counter is not enough. Let's say open 10 counters. When you open 10 counters, if you still have only one queue, does it make sense? When you keep 10 counters, if you still have only one queue, does it make sense? Are you using the counters effectively?
No.
No. In that case, what you do, then have 10 lines. This is line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4. This line 1 I am calling column 1, line 2 column 2, line 3 column 3, line 4 column 4. Each line by one counter. The counters are cores and these lines are columns. So that's much simple. To make it much simple, so the number of cores, to keep all the cores busy, make sure that we have that many columns, that many lines, that many queues, so that, let us say, somehow the person in this counter is too very young and then working faster or expert. Then what we do, and then what happens? So sometimes what happens, if this queue is empty, some attender will call these guys to shift to this. No, when someone notice that this counter is ideal or working faster, someone will call, and then you guys please come back, please join in this queue. So that means this queue is further divided into, and so to keep the counters busy. That is done by something called calculation engine in HANA. Like this, the security guard who will monitor these queues and the counters and then instruct the people, that and all will be done by someone called calculation engine, who will monitor the counters, the cores, and identify which core is busy, which core is idle, what data need to be processed. That and all will be planned by an engine called calculation engine. But what I want you to understand, and columnar database is a solution for loading the data from main memory to CPU core, because when the data is inside the each column, if each column data is stored separately, there is scope for compression. There is scope for compressing the data, because within each column there is a lot of possibility to have duplicate records, similar data. Then once it is loaded effectively, and then the cores can use each column separately, so that parallel processing. So one solution, and for two requirements, loading the data and processing the data parallelly, solution is columnar. Not only this, let us say let us say you want, there is one column called sales column. Say first record, first customer sales, second customer sales, like that, all the customer sales. When you want the total sales, it is enough to have everything in one column, no? When you want some kind of functions, aggregate functions, so I want the total sales, everything is in one column. If it's columnar, if it's row wise, first row sales here, second row sales here, third row sales here, I have to travel the entire database, or I have to travel each and every record to get this sales, this sales, this sales, and finally submit. But if all the sales are in one place, then I can easily submit. So the aggregate kind of functions will be much faster, even when the database is columnar. So these are the advantage with the columnar database. So now tell me, is it clear?
Ganesh?
Yes, please.
Hey, so you were saying like, I mean, we can compress these files and load the data, right? So, I mean, if it's like land, city, or country, that's fine. But if there is any column like quantity or price, and there is a very good chance that it will get repeated. And if you delete those or compress those, and then if you do this aggregation logic, then the result will be wrong, right? So how can you do that?
Yeah, exactly, yes. So that's what we are saying. Compression doesn't mean that blindly compress it. It doesn't mean that blindly compress it, and still they'll make sure that which country belong to which one. So the compressed data will be loaded, and then they'll maintain enough indexes. They'll maintain enough pointers still to understand that which country belongs to which customer, which quantity belongs to which sales order. And because while summing, it doesn't matter, but summing, no, we can very well sum all the quantities, but still they'll mention that. Again, it doesn't mean that when there are three countries, it doesn't mean that only one country is loaded. They will load 3 comma in, like that, something like that. So they load, instead of loading in 3 times, they load like 3 comma in, that means in for 3 times. So 5 comma de, that means de for 5 times. So like that, they still maintain some reference. In fact, there is one technique called dictionary per compression, so that I'll explain in detail. So but yes, compression doesn't mean that blindly deleting the duplicate guys. So it will still maintain the information, how many countries are there, instead of loading 5 DEs, loading something like that, there are 5 DEs. Again, which DE belongs to which customer, also they'll maintain a reference. So something like that. Timing, because it's early to discuss, that will be confusing, but still for your understanding, something like this here. See this here, it will be maintained, some links will be maintained like this here. So this customer belong to this country, this country belong to this country. See this here, 4 means for Italy, and Italy belongs to second record, fourth record, sixth record, like this. Certain links will be maintained, data will be actually loaded like this. So the countries and the orders and some references, this I'll discuss maybe a bit soon. But and compression doesn't mean that blindly just to delete duplicates. So along with that compressed data, they also maintain certain reference. See this link, just this link. Italy indicate that 4. The fourth location, second, fourth, 8. Second means this one, Italy. Fourth with this one, Italy. And eighth means this one, Italy. That means in the Italy, there is second record, fourth record, as well as eighth record, like that. But anyway, I'll discuss this later, which is one of the compression technique. This is one compression technique. So here I'll explain how to even decompress the data also. So is this
So
clear?
Yeah. So when you say they do it, they compress it. Is it HANA basis administrator who does all this?
So no one do it. The system or the technology will do it. That calculation engine, the HANA architecture itself will do that. So no one will do it manually. The
So
moment,
okay, so HANA architecture it's by itself will have this compression and all that. So you're just trying to
yes, yes.
explain the
The moment
architecture.
your table is columnar, the moment your table is columnar, it is eligible to do all these things. System will do all these things for you.
Okay,
But only
that's
for this prerequisite is database table must be columnar.
okay. So if you don't do that and if you select row, it works as is like the existing
Correct.
functionality. Like okay,
Correct, correct. If it's row, then no. See, when it's row wise, compression won't happen. When the compression won't happen, no decompression, no parallel processing. Parallel processing can be done effectively if it's columnar. Compression can be done effectively if it is columnar. When you are row wise, first thing is when you choose the table type row wise, means you cannot enjoy many of the HANA features. So the strength of HANA is in memory plus columnar. HANA minus in memory comma columnar equal to 0. That means it's just like a traditional database. I repeat, HANA minus in memory. If you're not keeping anything in memory, if you're not choosing your tables as columnar, that means it is just like your traditional database. So there is nothing great in this database. The main strength of HANA is and taking the help of HANA in memory as well as columnar database. This is one of the technique. I'll explain it very soon.
okay.
In
So
which
one last question, Ganesh. So do we need to go to each table and select this column row or row data, or do we have any generic option?
yeah, by default columnar is selected. If it is by default it columnar. HANA database by default columnar.
Okay, but if you want any table to be converted to row, then you need to go to each table and do that then, or do we have, I
Yes,
mean, you
yes.
can select multiple tables at a time and do that as
No,
something
no,
like
no.
that,
It's
right?
a table wise. It's a table
Okay,
wise. It's a
okay,
table wise. So when you create a new table, by default it is columnar. Something like this. If at all you want to choose explicitly row wise, yes, you can. Yeah, anything from the list and technical settings. Since the database HANA here, timing local object. Yeah, when you go for database settings, okay, it's a mandatory data class 0. Sorry, data class is APPLG, right? Yes, size category something like this. Then go to database specific properties. Yeah, by default it is. That is enough. Without getting into this area, we can blindly activate it so that it becomes columnar. If at all you wanted to choose row wise, then choose it. But as long as see this, when you go and see the table, system settings, system status, here the database is HANA. Here the database HDB. So in the HANA database, default table is columnar only. Default type of table is column store. So yes, guys, others, are you able to follow his questions and my answers? Because his question is, so when you are blindly compressing, what happens when you are doing the calculations and all? That's what his question. So what my explanation is, yes, it won't blindly compress it. While doing the compression, it will maintain lot of links, lot of indexes, lot of relationships. And then while retrieving the data, when you are working and you're doing any calculations on it, that relationships will be used. That indexes will be used. That's what I try to show you. But anyway, I'll explain that technique also. There is one technique called dictionary per column. Is it clear? Both his question and my answer?
Yes, Ganesh.
Yeah, because no, everyone may not able to ask the same question, and then so and so make sure that you get benefited from everyone's question. Okay, so that's what next. Now that compression technique I'll explain in next session. Now I wanted to explain the entire course content in 3 different scenarios. Entire course content is divided into 3 scenarios. So to make it and to put it into simple words, HANA, no? HANA evolution here. This is very interesting. This is what the entire course content is divided into 3 scenarios, from the oldest scenario to the latest scenario. Now the latest here is optimized ABAP on SAP HANA. This is the latest one from NetWeaver 7.4 Service Pack 06 onwards. Your ABAP is optimized. So I don't need to do many things at HANA level. There are 2 things like ABAP level and HANA level. Yes, database level also we are supposed to do few things. But in the latest version, only ABAP knowledge with some latest concepts are enough. But in the older versions, in the olden days, not version, in the olden days, when HANA is into market for the first initial days of HANA, in the initial days of HANA, when HANA was into market, there are many customers, not many customers, sorry, all the customers, all the SAP customers are already using some database, no? This is the HANA database, which is newly introduced into market, but all of the SAP customers are already using some other database, let's say Oracle database. They're already using this for since many years. Now you came up with HANA. You cannot simply say replace with Oracle database with the HANA database, because they're happy with that. They're happy with that. So since this is the existing nature, existing structure of the SAP customers when HANA is into market, then what SAP cannot do, SAP cannot simply say that, guys, you please replace your database with my database. Just because it's mine, you cannot say like that. Then SAP is saying that my database is great. This is special database compared to your existing database. Then what you can do, if at all you want to give a try, without replacing this database, you can use this HANA as a secondary database. This is a primary, this is a secondary database. That means, let us say you identified some 10% of applications. You identify 10% of applications and for which performance need to be improved. Then you tried all the ways with the existing database and existing techniques, but still you are not happy with that. Then what you can think of, for these 10% of applications, I can use HANA as a secondary database to get the maximum benefits of HANA. That means without replacing the existing database, wherever you are not happy for that particular part, you can use HANA as a secondary database. So initial purpose of HANA was not to be used as a primary database. It is to be used as secondary database. So what happens in the secondary database, because your table gets created here, your programs are written here, then in that case, and what we usually do, we replicate the tables from here to here as a first step. The moment you replicate the table from Oracle database to HANA database, the table becomes columnar, because this is row wise, this is columnar. Let me draw it firstly. So this is the existing, this one. So this is the existing database, Oracle, and this is above system. This is above system, and here HANA. Here I'll write to make it simple H. So but everything is there in the Oracle database, but we identify 10% of programs or applications for which the performance need to be improved. This 10% of applications depends on 20 tables. Now these 20 tables should be replicated here. So the moment there are some techniques to replicate the tables. So there is some technique called BODS, SLT, and or through file also we can replicate. Through file also, these people can give the data into file, I can replicate here. So the first advantage, the moment I replicate the table from here to here, the row wise table becomes columnar table. Then the data becomes in memory if required. So I got 2 advantages by default the moment the tables are ready here, in memory and columnar. Then on the top of this HANA is not part of any SAP system, just a HANA database. Now on this HANA database, using the HANA Studio, one tool, through that Studio in this HANA database, I can create HANA views or procedures. HANA views or procedures using the HANA SQL. I showed you in this previous slide, HANA SQL, and implement the code push down, because the data is in memory, no? Code push down. Then these views can be called from my ABAP program. So in the ABAP program, I need to rewrite the program just to call this view or just to call this procedure. The procedure gets executed in HANA, and this HANA procedure called the tables. The tables are in memory. Tables are columnar, like that, to enjoy all the HANA features without replicating replacing the entire database. When you are happy with 90% of the application, not happy with only 10%, only for then 10%, we can very well use HANA as a secondary database. This is also known as HANA as accelerator. HANA as accelerator. You are accelerating the speeding. You are speeding up the process with the help of in-memory, with the help of columnar, with the help of parallel processing, with the help of code push down, etc., etc. So for this scenario, we need the HANA SQL knowledge, HANA procedure knowledge, HANA views knowledge, and how to call these things from this ABAP program. So this is one scenario in which we are going to discuss more about HANA, views, procedures, HANA SQL. So this is for some customers whose landscape is like this. This is for some customers whose landscape is like this. So is this clear?
I have one doubt here. So
Hey,
if
Ganesh.
it is,
Sorry.
yeah, I have one doubt here, sir. So if you use
Yeah, Johnny,
HANA
tell
as
me.
secondary, yeah, if you use HANA as secondary database, like as you said, like the data is copied to secondary database from SQL database, right?
Sorry, if HANA is secondary database, then
Initial whatever required data is copied to HANA database, right? As you said.
okay.
So how do we write the logical based on HANA features or like about using ABAP features or HANA features for extracting the data? So how do we write the logic based on
No,
HANA using HANA features or ABAP features?
no. So here for extracting data, no features comes into picture. There are no features comes into picture just to replicate the data. So as we said, there are many tools available from here to here. So one is BODS. BODS is one tool, or SLT. In the SLT, system landscape transformation, it is as simple as right click on the table, the left hand side. Right click on the table, just replicate. And this HANA will be maintained as a destination for this. I repeat, for this ECC, this HANA system will be maintained as a target system. So go to this ECC system and right click on the table, say replicate. The moment you say right click and replicate, the table gets replicated in the destination system. So nowhere we are writing any code to replicate the data. Through SLT, it's just a matter of right click and replicate it. Through BODS also, there is some process, I'm not sure. Through file also, these people will give the data in the download the data in the file. There is in the HANA level, there is an option where you can import the file. So in either of the case, and there is no extraction logic, this data can be downloaded and from the ALV, maybe you can display the data in the ALV and download it. But each table data has to be given in a separate file. Each table data in a separate file, because it's not only just replicating the data, even a table has to be created here. Table need to be created with data. So that is the reason ideally for every table one file if it's through file. But the better thing is SLT, system landscape transformation, and it is one easiest tool. Our job is simply right click and replicate. When it's a right click replicate, it lost the target system. If the HANA system is configured as a destination, a target system, automatically the table gets replicated here. So no transformation, no data retrieval logic, and no logic comes into picture for replicating data here. It's not like a BDC and all. These tools will help us.
Hey,
SLT, BODC. That
Ganesh.
procedure is known as data provisioning. That concept is known as data provisioning techniques. In fact, further there are different consultants. We ABAPers are not responsible for that. And BODS consultants are there separately. Their job is this data migration from this to this. Yeah, now tell me.
Yeah. Ganesh, I couldn't get his question exactly. There was a lot of disturbance. So his question was like, how can you replicate database tables or database from
Correct,
one
correct. Yeah,
system
his
to
question is,
another?
do we need to write any program? Yeah. His question is, do we need to write any program or any logic to transfer the data from here to here? So what I'm saying, we don't need to do anything like that. These tools will help us to simply replicate it. So BODS consultants are there. So they have their own procedure to replicate it without writing any logic.
So
Yeah,
the
that's what it's
SLT,
saying.
yeah. So the SLT tool which you were saying, so the destination system will be HANA, but the source system can be any system, like any database,
No,
or
it's a SAP only. SAP only.
from SAP to SAP we can use SLT.
It's not SAP to SAP, SAP to HANA.
Sorry, SAP to HANA we can do it through SLT.
Yes, yes. Because
How about?
SLT is also one of the SAP server.
Oh, okay, got you. So how about if there is any other database?
See, we are not replicating from database to database. It's from SAP system to HANA database. There should be an SAP system.
Okay, no. Oh, okay.
So database doesn't matter. It should be an SAP system. There can be any database here. There can be any database. We are transferring it to HANA. So the existing system must be SAP. If it's non-SAP, we don't bother. If it's non-SAP, so there may be another tools, not SLT, but SLT will work only for this is an SAP server. So this can understand only SAP. So maybe BODS or files concept through file we can.
Okay, so one another last question, a simple question. So, like Oracle database is being used for most of the SAP applications before. Likewise, can HANA database can also be used for any of the Oracle applications as such?
Yes, it is just a database. SAP is database. SAP is the owner. That's all, and it can be used for anyone. Yeah, it is just a database only. It can be used by other applications also, but I'm not sure whether SAP is giving the license and selling or not. But it is just like other databases only, because there is no tight in there is nothing like that. It can be used only by SAP. The owner is SAP, the proprietor is SAP.
Got it. Thanks, man.
So yeah, so
Yeah, I have one more question, sir. So last question. So if that is the case, like we have HANA secondary database, if we write, it needs to write a report, okay? So how
yes,
it will
Johnny,
be
if
the
you don't
select code,
mind,
like
your volume or voice, it's not so clear. Maybe can you come closer to this speaker or so and so if you are not using headphones?
yeah, I'm using headphones only. Is it clear?
Yeah, just go ahead, but still not so
Hello?
clear. But go ahead.
Yeah, if we use HANA secondary database, so
Okay.
there is a requirement to write a report, okay? So how it will be the select statement based on HANA features, ABAP features?
Hey
So HANA
Ganesh,
is a database.
hey, Ganesh, I think his question is like, you said like, in the olden days, like you are using like, Oracle database and secondary as a HANA database, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So for 10% of your applications, whatever, like,
Correct,
tables
correct.
which you're accessing, if you move that into HANA, right? So the 10%, application using data
Correct.
tables will be in HANA. So
Correct.
you write a code with like say ECC, ECC, in ABAP code, how you write this code, accessing HANA, tables in HANA. Is it in a normal like ABAP code or something like with the features of HANA extended ABAP? That's what
Yeah.
his question
So
is.
yeah, this is quite simple. First thing is your question itself has an answer. The moment I'm using HANA as a secondary, this is not for the entire SAP system here. This is the existing SAP system. Again, ABAP here, SAP here. The first thing, this HANA is secondary for what? For definitely for some of the applications. Let's say for 10% of the applications only, you wanted to use HANA, right? So definitely for this 10% applications, you write 10 programs. These 10 programs only need to be written by keeping this HANA in mind. The remaining 90% of the applications regular, because you are happy with that. You are happy with that. So only this is the area where you want to improve the performance. So for these 10% of programs, that relevant tables only we transport here. On top of the 10 tables, using HANA SQL, we create HANA procedures and all. Here we implement the code push down. Those things we are going to call it or consume it here. ABAP program, but we are all using HANA components just for the area, just for the applications for which you wanted to implement the performance using HANA. For the others, it is regular. The 90% of application where you are already happy, this you don't need to disturb it. The 10% of the programs need to be written by keeping the HANA features in mind. Of course, here we write ABAP program, but everything is inside the HANA level. We write a procedure here using a HANA SQL. In the HANA SQL, we implement the code push down. Here we simply call the procedure. In the ABAP program, we simply call the procedure. In ABAP program, we simply call this view. So that's how these ABAP programs are written. But everything is already developed at the HANA level. We simply consume the HANA components from here, HANA artifacts from here. Yeah, for these 10% of programs, we keep this HANA in mind. The remaining 90% is as usual. That's how it is divided here.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, sir. Yeah, thanks, Venkat, for clarifying.
Yeah, fine. Thank you. Right. So is this scenario clear? First scenario.
Yes, Ganesh.
So every client may not have this architecture, but what SAP intention was, yes, you customers, you need not to replace your database if you are happy. But still, if at all you wanted to enjoy my database, you don't need to replace your database. You can still enjoy my database by running it side by side. That's what they call side by side, a sidecar scenario. This scenario is also known as sidecar scenario, side by side, or HANA as a secondary, because you still can enjoy HANA without replacing your database, only for the areas for which you want to improve the performance. So that's what SAP intention is, to keep their customers happy. You don't need to replace or remove, throw your database, existing database. You can still keep your original old database as it is for most of your applications and still enjoy the benefits of HANA by running it separately. Is it clear?
Yes, Ganesh.
Now that is in the olden days. That was the target. Next one, yes, first one here, see this. ABAP can access HANA. This is ABAP, the existing system. This is HANA. This is accessing HANA, but running on Oracle. See the difference. Running on Oracle, but accessing HANA. ABAP is not running on HANA. If this is HANA, then this becomes HANA as a primary database. This becomes HANA as a primary. So that's what they're saying. ABAP can access HANA, but ABAP cannot run on HANA because HANA is not designed to run as a primary in the initial days. So it is only for to be used as a secondary. That's what they call as side by side. So in this scenario, we are going to learn the HANA SQL, HANA views, HANA procedures, finally come to ABAP program and how to call these things as part of the first scenario. The next scenario later, 7.x, no, the 7.x means 7.31 service pack 05. In the service pack 05, ABAP can run on HANA. That means HANA can be used as a primary database. HANA can be used as primary database. But BW on HANA, SAP NetWeaver BW on HANA. In this scenario, yes, HANA is primary database. This is my HANA. This is HANA and primary database. ABAP can run on HANA. That means you can very well use ABAP as HANA as a primary database. But BW on HANA, this BW on HANA is optimized. That means BW is redesigned. I repeat, BW product is redesigned by SAP by keeping the HANA features in mind. So BW can get the maximum benefits, but surprisingly, ABAP level there is no improvement. ABAP is simply running on HANA, but ABAP level, I cannot implement the code push down, because to implement the code push down along with the select statement, I should be able to write the case expression, but this was not allowed in the OpenSQL. And I should be able to write my date function. This was not allowed in the OpenSQL in the initial days. So what my intention is, at this level 7.31 and service pack 05, and BW is optimized with HANA, but ABAP wise there is no improvement at all. That means directly in my ABAP program, I cannot write this kind of statements using OpenSQL. But if you still want to enjoy, still I need to get into HANA level. I need to create a procedure and a view using a HANA SQL, and then implement the code push down. Call it here. I repeat, just HANA and ABAP. ABAP is running on HANA. But ABAP is not improved. ABAP level there was no changes made. So when you want to write an ABAP program with a code push down using OpenSQL, it is not allowed. Then I need to depend on the native SQL. So I still need to get into HANA, whatever I did earlier. I still need to create a procedure using my HANA. I still need to create a view using my HANA. Then inside this using HANA SQL, in which I implement the code push down. Now call it. Earlier I call these things from another ABAP system, secondary. This one now I am calling here, but for both the cases I need to depend on HANA level. I need to get into HANA. I need to create the procedures, the views, HANA SQL. I need to do all these things at a HANA level. Only difference between earlier case and this case, in the earlier case I am going to call from other ABAP system. A connection is required from here to here. In this case I don't need to call, I don't need a connection, but still I need to call them from ABAP system. So ABAP wise, the HANA wise, still my effort is same. Even though ABAP is running on HANA, but ABAP level there is no improvement. Since there is no improvement at ABAP level, I still need to get into HANA and do the things at HANA level and consume at ABAP level. So because at this level, BW is the benefiter. BW is the beneficiary, but not the ABAP. But still you want to enjoy the HANA features in ABAP, indirectly develop the things at a HANA level, then consume it from ABAP, like what we did earlier. So in first case and second case, we need more knowledge at HANA level, because we are doing it at HANA level, consuming it at ABAP level. So now the last case, before getting last case, just make sure that it is clear. Is this scenario clear? But our job is more or less same in the first and second scenario.
Yes, Ganesh.
Yeah. So only thing is, even though ABAP is running on HANA, but ABAP is not improved. That's what the previous example, yesterday's example. This is a 2G SIM card, a 2G mobile, but 4G. SIM is 4G, but my mobile is still 2G. That means mobile is not optimized, so I cannot get benefited. To get benefited, maybe indirect way. So now this is what the second scenario. Just give me 5 more minutes, guys. I'll complete the last scenario here. Second scenario, ABAP can run on SAP HANA, but BW is optimized. ABAP is not optimized. So in both these scenarios, I need to do the things at a HANA level. In the first scenario, call that from other ABAP system. In the second scenario, call it from the same ABAP system. But our nature of job at HANA level is same. So here we should have 2 skills, HANA skill, ABAP skill. Yes, because your area is not optimized. Your area is ABAP. Your area is not optimized, so that we have to go to other area. That means you are staying in one area where there was no shopping mall, there is no supermarket, no hospital, no school. So go to other area where you get all these things, because you are in the area where your area is not improved. So that's what happened here. Now the last case, now the current case. Last case, the current case, 7.4, service pack 06 and above, optimized ABAP on HANA. Primary only, HANA is primary. These 2 cases are HANA is primary. So what happens here? This is very interesting. Here, now here running, this is HANA, and this is ABAP running on HANA, Now ABAP is optimized. That means your area is developed. You got the shopping malls, you got the hospitals, you got the schools. Means as part of the 7.4 and service pack 06 and above, at ABAP level, there is something called new OpenSQL. New OpenSQL. So as part of new OpenSQL, I can write the case expressions along with my select, the date functions, time functions, arithmetic function. Simply, whatever we did earlier using HANA SQL now can be done through new OpenSQL. So now HANA SQL is not required because I can do through OpenSQL, which is my favorite SQL, which is an ABAPer's favorite SQL. So as part of new ABAP or optimized ABAP, first part is new OpenSQL, and which supports code push down. Supports code push down means they came up with many predefined SQL functions, case expressions, time expressions, arithmetic expressions, date functions, string functions. A lot of things can be used directly along with OpenSQL. That is the first one. Is that clear?
Yes, Ganesh.
Next. Then this is not reusable. New OpenSQL is not reusable. That means if you write in one program, only that program can use it. If you want a reusable component, they introduced CDS view, core data service view. This will use OpenSQL only. When you create a CDS view, only difference is reusable. Internally, it is new OpenSQL. When you create a view in the dictionary level, this is a dictionary level. It will create a view in the database. No, it will create in something in the database. Just like when you create something in the dictionary, it will create a component underlying database. So when you create a CDS view here, it internally creates a view in the HANA. We don't need to create it. HANA view, we don't need to create it. It gets created automatically as a result of CDS view. The CDS view is now part of ABAP area. This is using new OpenSQL. Similarly, if there is a need of procedure here, in ABAP level, there is something called AMDP, ABAP Managed Database Procedure. It's a procedure only, but managed by ABAP. Technically speaking, it's a special method of a class. When you create a method, it internally creates a procedure. So I don't need to create a procedure. I don't need to create a view. I don't need to use HANA SQL because my new OpenSQL is a replacement for HANA SQL. My CDS view is a replacement for HANA view. My AMDP is a replacement for procedure. So I don't have anything to do with this area now. I don't have anything to do with this area. Everything can be done through my area, our area, or ABAPer's area. This is what we call new ABAP, optimized ABAP, HANA ABAP, and these CDS views, AMDPs are possible only through Eclipse, so that we call it as Eclipse-based ABAP. Eclipse-based ABAP or new ABAP, HANA ABAP, optimized ABAP, everything is ABAP. We don't need to do anything at HANA level. So now, if you're working with the latest version, latest scenario, we don't need to get into anything in the HANA. You no need to learn HANA SQL, no need to learn HANA views, no need to learn HANA procedures. You just need to learn new OpenSQL, CDS views, and AMDP. Of course, internally in the AMDP, it creates a procedure. Inside the procedure, we use HANA SQL because this is OpenSQL, this is native SQL. But currently, don't worry much. But my intention is, when it comes to the latest scenario, without HANA knowledge, you can do everything because HANA SQL now replaced with OpenSQL, new OpenSQL. HANA views now replaced with CDS views. HANA procedures now replaced with AMDP. Internally, a CDS view creates a view in the HANA and the database. An AMDP creates a procedure in the database. Earlier, we learn HANA SQL, we create this view, we create the procedure, we consume it here. But as a result of these things gets created automatically. That's what optimized ABAP means, where our job becomes much easier. Like this here, the latest scenario, when you create a CDS view at ABAP level, it creates some view in the HANA. When you create an AMDP at ABAP level, this ABAP level, internally at HANA level. See this is a HANA area, this is ABAP area. Nothing to do with HANA area in this optimized ABAP. So if you are fortunate enough, if you get a chance to work with the latest version, your job becomes easier. Older version, it comes under one of the scenario, secondary database or primary. If it is primary database, First scenario is HANA is secondary. Next one is HANA is primary. In the primary, two options. And ABAP is not optimized, ABAP is optimized. If ABAP is not optimized, still we have to get into HANA, develop the HANA components and consume it ABAP. If ABAP is optimized, I don't need to get into HANA. Everything can be done through ABAP itself. I'm not sure how many people really understood, but it's very interesting if you understood.
So Ganesh, is this CDS views also called as annotations, or that's a separate concept?
No, annotations is one concept inside the CDS view.
Okay, CDS views and annotations. Okay.
Yeah, CDS view, annotations within CDS views.
Okay, thank you.
So simply, when you are working with optimized ABAP, your job becomes much easier. Just like our smartphone, we are in the smartphone era. Things are much simple. And the olden days to make a call, so how difficult it is. Now to book a cab in the olden days, I still remember I used to spend half an hour to book a cab through telephone and to guide him to give all the direction to reach my location. Now with the help of apps, just booking it, relax it, they're coming to your place and then they're making the call and then picking up you. So I still remember those days where I spent 30 to 40 minutes just to get the cab into my place, where I used to book it and wait for him, guide him, and give the instructions completely where there was no app. And then surprisingly, sometimes and after 30-40 minutes of effort, he may simply cancel the trip, saying that this is not car is something not available. But now it's not like that. You can see within what time the cabs are available, and 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes with no instructions, and the people are reaching your place and picking up you, because that our job becomes easier just because of the optimized technology. So now even it depends on the scenario what you are working. If you get an opportunity to work with HANA as secondary, the first case. HANA is primary, but if it's still older version where ABAP is not optimized, and the next case where you are working with the latest case, everything is optimized, our job becomes so easier. You don't need to learn anything at HANA level, everything at ABAP level. This is what our HANA ABAP content, please.
So Ganesh, as part of the new, you'll be going through the new, but you'll be showing how underlying HANA views will be created and how the HANA store position will be written, like any use case, like you'll be going through, right?
Yeah, for everything we'll see an example,
Okay.
practical thing for everything, yes,
Okay.
including secondary, primary, and all the cases. And then interestingly, I'll take the same example for all these things, so that what if I don't want to confuse with many examples. I'll take one example, make sure that that is applicable for all the three.
Okay.
Same example we carry forward throughout the training.
Okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I think Venkata, so Ganesh is not going to just explain the third one, optimized one. He's going to explain the HANA level procedures and all that, and step 2 and step 3, if I'm not
No, we
wrong.
are going to discuss everything, no?
Yeah,
Everything,
yeah,
all the
that's
three.
what. Now he's thinking that we discuss only optimized one, so it's not that case, right?
Yeah, see, we cannot take it granted like that, because we are not sure whether we get an opportunity to work with latest one, old one. So we'll learn all the three. Yeah.
True, true. Thank you.
But ideally, it is enough to learn only the last one nowadays.
Got it.
That's all. Just like
Yeah, it's good to
now,
have the understanding, right?
yeah. See, you wanted to be a mobile technician, a telephone technician, and it nowadays it is enough to know how to repair mobile and smartphones. But still, we are going to learn how to repair the landline and wireless, mobile, smartphone, everything. They're all different eras in the telephone industry. Being a mobile technician, you should know how to work with, how to handle all types of devices. Like that, being an ABAP technician, we should know how to handle the oldest to latest. We'll be discussing all the three scenarios.
Great. Hey, one last. Sorry, every time I'm saying one last question. So, but so what is that ABAP basis administrator and HANA ABAP? So, is there any difference, or I mean, ABAP consultant will be handling all this? Like once you explain all this, I just want to know high level understanding. Like,
Above basis administrator, I don't think so. There is anything like that. There is a basis administrator is there, but above basis administrator, I don't think so. I'm not sure. Either
HANA
basis,
basis administrator.
that is HANA administrator. That is different. The HANA administration is completely non-technical. Like whoever currently in the basis, no, whoever currently in the SAP administration, like how we are learning HANA ABAP, they will learn HANA administration. Currently, those who are in SAP administration with normal basis, with normal databases, for them upgradation is learning HANA administration training. For an ABAPer, HANA-ABAP.
Okay, got you. Thank you.
That is their administration area. This is our technical area. Yeah, Mohit, anything?
Yeah. So when you say IDE tools Eclipse, is this we can use the web IDE as well, or we have to use Eclipse only?
Web IDE cannot be used. Web IDE cannot. Web IDE can be used only for the UI5 development.
Okay.
UI5 development and some HANA related components, but not ABAP related.
Okay. So it has to be Eclipse.
Yeah, it has to be Eclipse only, or HANA Studio, either Eclipse or HANA Studio, because internally HANA Studio runs on Eclipse only.
Okay, so HANA Studio is much easier. I mean, in terms of
No,
deploy.
both are same.
Both are same.
Both are same. Yeah, but HANA Studio gives an impression that okay, easier because it's an SAP tool. Definitely a bit easier to compared to Eclipse, but more or less 90% is same. In the UI5, we can see a lot of difference. Mohit, in the UI5, Web IDE and Eclipse, lot of difference. But here above level, no, Eclipse and HANA Studio almost same.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. And yeah, in fact, we are done with a very introduction part. Now the actual session starts. So ideally, ours is Monday to Friday. Ideally, we should have a session tomorrow. But I have some pre-planned program only for this week. Tomorrow I'm not going to have. And from Monday we'll be having the regular sessions only for this week, guys, because some pre-planned thing in my career, calendar. So only this Friday, tomorrow we have no session, and our next session is from Monday, the regular sessions. We are done with introduction part. From Monday, I'll start with HANA SQL, because HANA SQL is important for both first and second scenario. Then we'll see how to make use of HANA Studio and all, and that will begin with. Yeah. So don't mind, we'll meet on
Adi,
Monday.
do you provide?
Yeah.
Hi, Adi.
Yeah, tell me.
Do you give
Shelley.
server access so that we can practice whatever is taught on a daily basis?
Yes, exactly. We'll give server access as part of this training for 2 months from the day one onwards. So yeah, once your enrollment is done, then we'll provide the server access for sure.
Okay.
Okay. So okay, then Naveen, Mohit, Hari, I know Anil. I think Anil, you 3 people, right? Anil and Venkat. Who is the other one?
Mohit.
Mohit. Okay, Mohit. Fine. Then Jani, I know. Hari, no. Naveen, I'm not sure. Santipriya, I know. Yeah. And Naveen, can you please ping me after the session? Yeah, I'll be.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I'll be signing off. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll meet on Monday. Yeah.
Thank you, Ganesh.
Thank you.
Thanks, Adi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.